It seems that now more than ever, we need to grow good in the world. We see people who are just unhappy, increasing rates of depression, isolation, communities disconnected and disenfranchised people feeling used and useless. We have increasing financial pressures, wealth inequality, people suffering imposter syndrome and status anxiety, where people just seem to be living a life on a trajectory that was predetermined for them. In New Zealand, we have people sleeping in cars, kids go without food, and houses increasingly unaffordable. Everyone suffers from peer and societal pressure telling us how to live our lives. Culture and fashion dictate what we should wear and what we should drive. Systems and corporations around us whose sole job is to extract from the community and from the environment and not give back. They just take at any cost. Tax evasion on monumental scales, politicians on the take, and more recently the uncertainty and volatility that Brexit and Trump have provided. And to top it all off, well, we seem to have just endless environmental destruction and climate change threatening our very existence. Well, if you're anything like me right now, you'll be feeling a little overwhelmed. How can I do anything to stop or counteract any or all of this? It's easy to feel helpless, and that's part of the problem. When we're helpless, it's easy to feel and be kept disempowered, and disempowered people are compliant to all of that system and stuff that's going on above. There's a saying, though, that the culture we accept is the one we're willing to walk past. What that means is, if you see something happening in the street that deep down inside you, you know isn't right, yet you choose to ignore it and just walk past, well, you just said that that's acceptable. And that's why all this bad stuff is happening in the world. Because collectively, we've said it's okay. We've normalized it. And that's the really sad thing. We have a choice. And we know oftentimes we make the worst of the two choices. But when we make that bad choice on the scale that we are, all it does is reinforce all of this stuff that we dislike so much in the world around us. Proof then that despite the choices that we have, we aren't actually in control of our lives. In fact, we're living a predetermined life set by other people. But what if your life depended on making better choices? The top 5 regrets of those close to death are these. Number 1, I wish I'd let myself be happier. Number 2, I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends. Number 3, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. But the top one, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Just think about that for a second. Are you living a life true to yourself? Or are you living a life on other people's terms that's creating a world that you actually dislike and you don't enjoy? But this is the really good news, the amazing news. If you want to stop, change, or solve any of this stuff that you're seeing that's going wrong in the world, you can. You're not powerless. You can make the choice. But before you can make that good choice, you need to be the change. If we all embody the world that we would like to see, we can take back control. And by changing and living a life of positive contribution and purpose, being true to yourself, well, you'll also be well on the way to living a life of no regrets. And that sounds pretty cool, right? So if you want to start that journey, come on over and join us at growgood.co and begin to make the change.